Good morning, Peter Franklin. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. I knew it would happen. One of the New York City cops arrested a state trooper.
Really?
Excuse me for laughing.
How did it, because now the state troopers they can patrol anywhere in New York.
Yeah, well, it's part of the pissing contest that's going on between Cuomo and de Blasio, because as you know and your nice listeners know, they hate each other.
Yeah.
So he sends down the state troopers for what? I mean, they look like they're lost. They must be very nice ladies and gentlemen and all that sort of thing. But their job is to hide outside Cooperstown and give speeding tickets.
Right.
They don't know anything about New York City. So he brings them down here. What's he going to do with them? He can't really put them on patrol, so he has them park at the bridges and the tunnels. You know, that's usually done by, let's say, a decoy cop car without somebody really in it. And they look lost and bewildered. And, you know, what are we going to we'll go up to a New York State trooper and ask her where Murray's Bar is? So anyway, the other night, there was a state trooper who was as drunk as a skunk, and the cops arrested him. It was, now they're furious at each other. So the whole deal has now escalated from Cuomo and de Blasio to cops versus cops. Wow. I don't think there's going to be a shooting war, but there's a lot of bad feelings, and I think these nice gentlemen and ladies should go back up to Ithaca.
Back upstate, back upstate. President Trump seemed to be blasting de Blasio during a speech the other day, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it spreads out. We are being run by the most unbelievable set of fools on the face of the earth. I mean, I love it when people start to get into a political argument and say, well, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm for Hillary, They're all idiots. They're the most sleazy, worst, terrible, horrible people. The Scaramouche guy is known on the streets of New York as like a mafia type. So where did he get his job? I'll tell you where he got his job. This country is being run by Trump's children. They're telling him what to do. That's exactly what's going on. And here's the explanation if you're worried about it.
And Scaramucci had a divorce thing going, too, right?
His wife filed for divorce kind of almost minutes before she was about to give birth.
Yes, she was 9 months pregnant.
That's the type of people that we have running the government. So don't tell me, oh, well, it's Trump, it's a Republican. The Democrats are just as bad. I mean, look at our senator. What's his name? Chucky? I mean, also just thoroughly corrupt. Oh, I'm ranting and raging. I'm sorry.
Listen, I want to go off script here, Peter, and I was in New York a month ago or so and witnessed this for myself. It used to be just the naked cowboy in Times Square. Then there's a naked cowgirl. And then there's another one. Then there's one after that. Now it's like there's Spider-Man, there are characters. Everybody's trying to make money getting a picture taken in Times Square, and they're fighting over potential customers who are just the people walking through Times Square.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's really deteriorating into a crap house like it used to be. And they say, well, that's what the tourists want.
That's what they want.
Excuse me. I'll apologize on behalf of the rest of New York City. That's not what you want. It's a terrible, terrible place. And there isn't a day that goes by that there isn't some kind of an incident or problem or something happened. This, again, I have to blame de Blasio for it because he's so bad. It's unbelievable.
A couple more of the police. Somebody's telling me here that the head of New York State Police stepped down over the issue that Cuomo was sending troopers down to New York City. I did not know that. Also, what's your take on the president coming out and saying that cops, don't worry about their head when you're putting them in the car. Maybe you could be a little more, ultimately more brutal. What's your take on that?
It's done right. I mean, again, forgetting about Republican, Democrat or something, Trump just shoots his mouth off under the advice and counsel, I insist, his children. And he says something like that, which is unbelievably stupid. I mean, we're not the thugs. I'm talking about society. It's like, you kill somebody in my family, I'll kill you.
Right.
That's not the way it works. And cops are not supposed to, they're not the judge and the jury and all that type of thing. Cops shouldn't be beating anybody up because most of the time they're beating the wrong person up.
Saturday was Global Tiger Day, and the Bronx Zoo. It was a big day at the Bronx Zoo.
Now we're talking something nice and I can be pleasant.
Yeah.
I love tigers. All my life I've wanted to have a little baby tiger. So we went up to the zoo, and the Bronx Zoo, I can't recommend it more to all your listeners. It is just a glorious, glorious place, and they do such a wonderful job. So we went up to see the tigers, and, I mean, it's just thrilling. I mean, they are big. I mean, when you're standing next to one, of course, there's a piece of glass in between you.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic exhibit, and you go there, they got parking. But one word of advice, travel advisory, take your own lunch, because I think they charge a little too much for food.
And I believe that's one of those big recommendations that you say it's one of those bucket list items. You really have to go to the Bronx Zoo.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's not a New York City thing. It belongs to the world, and it's just absolutely. And they're doing a wonderful job with taking care of the animals and breeding them and all this kind of stuff. It's a really great thing.
How about if I throw one more at you, and that is
a self-described email prankster in the UK.
I'm not going to send that one to you, but I'll give you this one: improved state test scores. It's something we hear about with education, and it's back to school time already. Can you believe that shopping is happening? But the test scores for city kids are up, and you're here to tell us you don't buy it.
Well, I'm not here to tell you I don't buy it. I mean, it's a fact and it's public knowledge, and that's going to be the next scandal, that all they did is diminish the hardness of the test.
Yeah.
So, in other words, it's easier and it looks good. And then they're also finding in some instances that the teachers are giving the answers to the kids, which is just, it boggles the mind when you think about it. But after all, if a teacher got 30 kids in the class, she doesn't want 30 of them failing, so she'll mention, George Washington was the first president.
You should know that. And finally, if you have traveled on the subways in New York, there's a new plan. I mean, this has been a lot of controversy with public transportation in New York City this year. But this new plan would actually create some trains, subway trains, correct me if I'm wrong, Peter, that have no seats, that you just stand on. They don't have any seats.
It's true. I mean, it sounds like a gag. If I wanted... If I had said it to you last week, it would have been a gag, because it would have said, nah, that's impossible.
Yeah, who would do that?
Who could come up with such a crazy idea?
Yeah.
No, but that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to start removing the seats so that you'll get into, like, cattle. And then you know what happens? You'll have a guy standing next to you who just had a garlic pizza.
Well, it is always nice. I would normally stand on a crowded subway train, because you stand up for a lady or an older person to be able to sit down. That's what you would do. So what they would have to stand in this subway car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a crazy idea, and that the fear of repetition, once again, I have to look to the two state and city idiots, de Blasio and Cuomo. First of all, they don't really ride the subways, and second of all, if they did ride a subway, as they do occasionally for a publicity stunt, both of them have like a private car. You can't have people standing up. Yeah, there is a crowd in the subway, but that happens during rush hour. What happens with the rest of the day?
Best tour in New York City. It's the tour that is given by none other than Peter Franklin, the Gabby Cabby. Go to his website, Gabby.com, for details. Peter, thanks. Enjoy your week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peter Franklin in New York City.